Hey, if you've watched any of my other videos, then you should already know by now that I make music. I've been doing so since 2020, basically 2 years. In those 2 years, I feel like I grew a decent amount to the point where I feel confident in my ability in making music. So I decided, what better way to show off, how much I've improved than to make a video. So really quickly, I'm just going to show how I made the song Chase for Love, which is going to be out on YouTube and SoundCloud only because I'm too poor to afford Spotify. Please go show it some love. It'll be out by the time this video is out, so don't worry. Yeah, I'm just going to kind of just take you through the process of just how I made it. I would also like to give a shout out to Bonus Stage. He's a very talented producer, and out of nowhere, I just ended up falling in love with this guy. This guy, he has a crazy personality. Go subscribe to him on YouTube. He makes some nice beats. But anyway, he made a video where he basically combined breakcore and plug-in B together in one song. And I was like, you know what? That sounds cool. And then it kind of left an imprint on my head, and this is what I ended up producing. I would also like to give a shout out to Praxi Plays. He is just a very big inspiration to me. Matter of fact, he's basically the only reason why I make music, to be honest. If it wasn't for him, I really wouldn't be in this position, so I really just want to give a quick shout out to him. Also, I am using his style of video formatting or structure for this video too, so I'm basically going to plagiarize off him, so yeah. But anyway, I guess let's just get into how I made Chase for Love. The drums are pretty simple. For the snare and hi-hat, I just used a drum loop and put it through Fruity Slicer and made this pattern. I also added some open hats just to give more energy, and for the open hats I panned one to the left and the other to the right and added some chorus and stereo shaper just to give it a little more flair. For the melodies, it's really simple. First are chords that I made using Antifreeze of free VST from vstforfree.com, one of the best websites known to mankind. It's just a 2-chord progression, so nothing too insane. For mixing, I added some EQ, Cymatics Origin for a high pass cut and its chorus effect, and some stereo shaper to widen the sound even more. Next is a layer I made using Synth 1. Other from EQ and stereo shaper, I also used some reverb to space out the sound even more. Next is the 2 ARPs. The first one is the clarinet preset in Mapletron, another amazing VST from vstforfree.com, and I just played the chords and turned on the arpeggiator and added a little slide to it, or a portamento to it. Mixing wise, all I did was add EQ, reverb, as well as Panomatic, so it has that nice effect where each note is playing in different ears. The second ARP is the plug pad preset from Aegis, another vstforfree.com plugin. I'm really poor if you couldn't tell. And the mixing is the same as the other ARP with just EQ and reverb. Next is the only hint of melody in the song, which is the lead 3 preset in GMS. All I added for this was some delay and EQ. Lastly, for instruments is the bass. It's another preset from GMS, being Vintage Bass TE. Since the bass wasn't hitting for me like stock, I decided to put some EQ to boost the lows and some fast distort to hear it more in the mix. Other than some extra crashes and transition sounds and some light automations, we basically have our track finished. Also, I just wanted to point out, I have it end in a perfect loop with the beginning, since it's kind of like a video game track, so it's like gonna loop constantly throughout like the level type stuff. Just a nice little interesting thing I put in. I just quickly wanted to say that making this beat showed me how much I improved since I started making beats. In the past years, I've gone through a lot, but music production was the only hobby that I was really consistent at doing. Through stressful years at school, to struggling to get a job, to hating that job and ultimately quitting, I was still making music. Now that I'm starting to finally experience some growth in my clout, I hope that I can have the ability to make music for a living. But that's it. That's all I wanted to say, really. I hope you enjoy the beat.